friends, welcome to the Faithful Farmstead. Today we are talking all about garden planning. This is literally my favorite time of year, but I think I say that about every season with gardening. So after the holidays kind of dwindle down and we're thinking towards spring, one of the first things I will do is start to plan for the garden. My first seeds will get started around February 14th, always like Valentine's Day weekend is when I start my peppers. So now is the time where I'm kind of doing my inventory. Do I have the seeds that I need for this year? Do I have the equipment? All of those things. I have all of my seeds stored in these photo boxes. These things are amazing. You can find them at craft stores. I found mine at Hobby Lobby just waiting for a sale. They were like 14 bucks and they organize seeds so great. So I pull out all of those, I go through, and at this point, this is just the dreaming phase. This is anything that catches my attention and like, oh, that would be fun to grow. I put on a pile. I don't really think about for sure, like I'm growing this. I just put everything on a pile and just kind of start dreaming. Then I go back and I look at my garden journal. Again, this is something that I would highly recommend. I just have a notebook and what the world happened there? No, it doesn't close. What is going on? I just have a notebook and I have it categorized by year and I write down when I started seeds, if a certain variety did well, if we ate it, if we liked it. And that kind of gives me a glimpse of like for the next year, because you think you're going to remember, but you don't. So having a garden journal is really helpful. And then I will break it down again into smaller containers of what I'm actually going to grow this year. So for example, this is all of the hot peppers I will grow this year. And I put on here on the side the start date. These will get started, like I said, around Valentine's Day. Peppers are always the first thing that I start. They are the slowest to germinate. You will put them in soil and you will watch them every day for like 2 weeks until they sprout. They need heat and humidity. So they are the very first ones that I start to give them a jump start over everything else, and they will still be about the same size as my tomatoes, but my tomatoes I won't start until like a month later. So I go through, narrow it down of what I actually want to grow. Here's just an example. So these are my hot peppers. I put the amount that I want to grow this year and then break it down by how many of each variety. And how I do that planning is thinking about what I want to preserve this year, what we're fresh eating, what we ate last year, was it enough, was it too much, and kind of, again, go back to my garden journal and plan based off of those numbers. So everything in this box, I just have categorized as seed starting and the things that I would need to direct sow before the first frost. Then in my other one, I have a container that is just for direct sowing, and these will go in the ground when the garden is ready to be planted after the frost. That way it's just separate. I know that the one container is things that I'm going to be starting from seed, and these are ones that I am going to be putting directly into the ground. That's what direct sow means. So planning now kind of shows me like, is there anything I need to order? And my seed bank has gotten kind of large, so this year I'm not ordering anything. But if you are in the market of looking for seeds, I would highly recommend Botanical Interest if you are a new gardener. That was the only seed company I used the first few years that I was seed starting, because their packets are so self-explanatory. They really go in depth. It's like you get a little education on every single packet. It tells you when you need to sow outside. It tells you when you need to start inside, if it's recommended to be started inside, all the things. So recommend that company. Another one I really like is MI Gardener, and they have really affordable seeds, and I've had really good luck with their seeds as well. This year, or last year, I started buying from So True Seed, and I've liked their seeds as well. There's just so many seed companies out there, so those are my top 3. As far as equipment that I like to have for seed starting, I'm going to show you guys a couple different things here. So these are what you call 6-cell trays. I like to start my like marigolds in these, or if I am starting some cucumbers or squash, things like that, I start them in these little cell packets. And then I have a bottom watering tray here. All of these things here are from Bootstrap Farmer. They have a really durable plastic, so you're spending money up front, but I've had these now for 4 or 5 years and they're not wearing out, they're not cracking, so it's definitely worth the investment. And the reason I have these trays is to stick these guys in here, and then all I have to do is put water in the bottom and they kind of self-water themselves in that way. With that, and then this one is not from Bootstrap Farmer. This was one that I had gotten from Home Depot. I don't really use these cell trays anymore, but I did start when I first started seeds, started with this because this just, you can fit a lot. This is 72 in here and you can fit a lot. The only downside to this that I don't like is you have to up pot them into bigger containers then. So I'll use this for when I'm starting marigolds, like 4 weeks before the garden is planted out, so I can get a whole bunch all at once. For my peppers that I'll be starting first and my tomatoes, everything will get started in a tray like this. So you have the bottom watering tray, you have this insert here, and then I use these little seed pots, which I got some new ones this year because we're growing some more stuff this year than we normally have. And these, so you'll put potting mix in here, put your seed in there, and then all of these get lined up in here. And because it's a bottom watering tray, the roots will go down into the tray to soak up the water that way. I have had really good success starting seeds in these because I put them in here when I start the seed, and they do not come out of this container until they go into the garden. So these will go under just like a grow light. We put a rack in our bedroom with grow lights hanging from the racks with these trays underneath. The only other thing that I have is when I start peppers, because they need some moisture and humidity, I have a dome, and I'll stick that over top of my peppers until my peppers sprout. So just taking inventory, kind of figuring out what I have. The only thing that I needed to buy this year was some more pots like this. We are growing a lot of peppers, a lot of tomatoes this year. And then just figuring out when our last frost date is. So that is when you would have your average last frost in your area. And that's super easy to find. All you have to do is go on Google, type in when is my last frost, whatever city you're in, it'll show you a date. You can go off of that date and count backwards to start seeds, but I recommend you count backwards from when you're going to actually start your garden. So we are planning on planting our garden out the first weekend in May, and I count back from there. So peppers is usually like 10 to 12 weeks you plant before you would want to plant them out. Typically tomatoes are like 6 to 8 weeks. They grow really fast. And so figure out on your calendar, when do I want to start my garden, and just count backwards from there. Let's talk about how many you should start. And that's really going to depend on your family. For us, it's kind of been trial and error over the years. I would definitely recommend that you start growing what your family actually eats. Do you buy a lot of cucumbers from the store or a lot of tomatoes? Plant those things. And I would also challenge that you plant at least like one thing that your family says they don't like. For example, my husband was not really that fond of cucumbers until we started growing them in our garden, and a fresh cucumber is very different than a store-bought tomato, as is like a lot of garden veggies. A lot of people will say they don't like tomatoes until they've had a garden fresh tomato, and there is nothing like it. I don't eat store-bought tomatoes, my kids don't. It just tastes so incredibly different and very flavorless. So Plant things that you definitely eat as a family, but also try some new things and just play around. It's really cost effective. But we have found, as a family of 4, I always start 32 pepper plants. That gives us enough for fresh eating and for freezing. So I have enough of peppers to last me until the next garden season to put in soups, stir fries, casseroles, eggs, all of those things. If we were just fresh eating peppers, I would grow at least 1 or 2 plants per person. With pepper plants especially, you're gonna get like 1 pepper, maybe 2 that are ripe at the same time. So you're thinking, you know, if you're cutting up a snack or something, well, maybe 1 or 2 peppers would be okay. I always figure that maybe not all the plants are gonna produce at the same time. So I always plant 1 to 2 pepper plants per person, especially for fresh eating. Tomatoes will come on kind of like a couple at a time. Tomatoes, I usually plant about 1 plant per person, but we preserve a lot of tomatoes. So we do pasta sauces and diced tomatoes. I like to can chili, and that uses tomatoes, things like that. So we grow 32 tomatoes as well. Now, where am I getting that 32 number from? That is from this tray. 32 cells fit in this tray. So I always start a whole tray of tomatoes, I start a whole tray of peppers, and then kind of go from there. Some of my favorite tomatoes, I feel like that's always helpful to kind of share what you like. So I'll try to do this quickly, but a few tomatoes that I'm growing this year, one being San Marzano. This tomato I have found works so good in my southern heat. This plant has produced more than enough for us to fresh eat. They're really good fresh, just like in a salad or just raw with ranch. Really yummy. Just a little bit of salt. Getting excited. And preserving. I have really loved this tomato. So we're growing that one, a lot of those. And then I always like to grow some kind of beefsteak tomato for sandwiches, things like that. And my favorite is the watermelon beefsteak tomato. I've grown this now for a few years, and it is really, really yummy. And then nostalgia, I always put a yellow tomato in my garden because my grandma always had yellow tomatoes in her garden. And so they remind me of her, and this one is a really good one from M.I. Gardener. So there's a few tomatoes that we're growing. As far as sweet peppers, I mostly grow bell peppers because I find them to be the most like versatile with cooking and preserving and fresh eating. So we have seeds that we've saved, but this is a new one that I'm trying actually this year. This is from Botanical Interest, but I always grow a ton of bell peppers. And then another thing that my family eats a lot of is cucumbers. Now those won't get started from seed. They'll actually get direct sown into the garden when we plant the garden in May. But this year we are growing 30 cucumber plants. And I will plant like a couple when we first plant the garden in May, and then I'll plant a couple weeks later, and a couple weeks later, until I reach the number that I'm at. But this is one of my favorites. Now these are seeds that I got from, I think, a Master Gardener's thing. But the Bait Alpha, you see it? If it focuses. Bait Alpha cucumbers, they have been me and my kids' favorite. They're just tiny little cucumbers, and they are really, really yummy. Oh, here they are. Here's one from Seeds and Such. I think that's where I first got them. And then the other one that I really like is the Armenian. Again, they do really well with our southern heat, and I have cucumbers well into the summer growing those. So I like those. Another one that we grow a lot of is pole beans and bush beans, which are green beans. And I always grow 100 plants of green beans. And so that is 100 seeds that I put into the ground for our family of 4. But that gives us fresh eating all summer long for meals, but also gives me enough to put into the freezer to pull out for meals and stews and things like that. What, sweetheart? I personally, for green beans, grow the most Blue Lake. These are pole beans, so these would be like a trellis that I would put up on a trellis. But I also need to order some just like bush beans like this, and that would just, they're more of a bush. But we have found that Blue Lake is our personal favorite. So we grow a lot of that. What else are we growing? Okra. So we will grow 20 okra this year for our family of 4. We eat a ton of okra. We just eat a ton of garden veggies. So okra we eat mostly fresh in lunches, salt and pepper, some ranch. I do make some soups that I will can with okra, and I also batter it and put it in the freezer so I can pull it out all winter long. And what else is something that we're growing a lot of? Basil. So I am going to be planting 20 basil plants this year, and that gives me plenty for drying for the whole year. It gives me plenty for fresh eating, and I love to put basil in flower bouquets. So we grow a lot of basil. And then along with that, a lot of just fun stuff. So I have seeds that I have saved from last year, and the zinnia seeds will get thrown right into the ground. Marigolds, I always start some inside, but then I do plant a lot just directly in the ground because they grow really, really well when just planted directly into the ground. That is a little glimpse into my garden planning and what we're doing for our family. This is a really exciting time of year. It kind of helps chase all the winter blues away and just soak up the summer sun, come in the window and do some garden planning. Let me know what you're planning on growing this year or any questions you have in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one.